The content of the document is about finding beauty in everyday situations and how it can improve our health and happiness.
I watched one guy walk down the street and he was pulling his hand out of his pocket and some money dropped. And so this other guy he was about to walk by seen it, so he referred him back that he dropped the money. So the guy goes back and he picks up the money, and as he picks up the money, there's an unhoused person walking by. He handed him the money. This is what people are about. You know, just things like that I can carry to my children and grandchildren and tell them about the moral standard of what he did. And he was grateful, and his gratefulness made him, he chose to do a grateful act as well. And this is what it's all about in life.
When's the last time you were inspired by beauty? The beauty of leaves on trees, the clouds in the sky, laughter of children or a song, or just the minutiae of everyday life. This is Dacher Keltner. Welcome to the Science of Happiness. On each episode, we explore a practice to help us feel more joy, compassion, and connection to ourselves and our natural environment. This week, we're going to learn what happens when we go searching for beauty. Research shows that when we make an extra effort to see beauty around us, it actually supports our health and happiness. Our guest is a restorative justice advocate and my longtime friend, Darnell Washington. For our show, he tried a practice where he identified 9 beautiful things each day. And what's so inspiring is that when he did it, he was able to appreciate beauty even more as a result. Later in the show, we hear about how exactly this practice helps from the scientist who created it.
Our expectations were that the number of depressive symptoms, so like problem sleeping, general feelings of sadness, and so on, they would be reduced.
Welcome back to the Science of Happiness. I'm Dacher Keltner. This week, we're talking about beauty and the different kinds of beauty we can find in the world. One of the places that I found some of the most striking examples of beauty was in the restorative justice work I was privileged to do at San Quentin Prison in California, led by today's guest, who, for me, is a person of moral beauty, who inspires me through his courage and kindness and sense of justice, Darnell Washington. I met Darnell when he was running that restorative justice program, leading a couple hundred men in San Quentin through the amazing process of restorative justice probably 10 years ago, and just seeing how Darnell built what I would call the spiritual fabric of those gatherings, of just getting people together to think about soul and redemption and life. Darnell was recently released from prison after 26 years of incarceration, and he joins us after trying a practice, and it's pretty amazing, where he really sought out different kinds of beauty after he's provided so much of it to other people. Darnell, I've been dreaming of this day for some time to have you on the show, so thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
For our show, you tried this lab-tested practice where each day you identify and write about 9 things you found beautiful, right? And that tells us there's a lot around us. You write about 3 things about the beauty in human beings. You get out and write about 3 things in nature that are beautiful. And then you write about 3 things, that are just like, in general, what do you find beautiful? How would you define beauty? What does beauty feel like, or what does it mean to you?
I think beauty is anything that can touch your sensibility, touch your humanity, to make you really just think about what's going on with you. And maybe the privilege you have or the privilege you don't have.
Yeah.
But either one of them, there's still beauty inside of it.
Yeah. What did you see when you went and searched for examples of beauty each day? What did you write about?
I wrote about this unhoused couple.
Yeah?
I work in the Tenderloins in San Francisco. And basically, we try to keep unhoused people from using drugs in front of businesses and schools and things like that. We come and talk to them and talk to them compassionately, asking them to move along. And oftentimes, if they need something, I will go buy them a coffee or buy them a donut, you know what I'm saying? But what amazed me one time is that I'm standing across the street and I see this one couple, they're getting up and this young lady is crying. And they're both unhoused, and it's a young man with her. And he just grabs her and he started hugging her. You know, and I'm just sitting there. It's like almost had me in tears, like, you know, what are they going through, you know? And I watched this couple hug for like 10 minutes. And after he finished hugging her, it's like he released her and she was glowing like a sunflower. And I said, it's so amazing that people can have so much love for each other. So it goes to show it doesn't take to have a roof over your head to have love. And that was a beautiful sight for me. I can see negative things, and that can block the beautiful things. So I have to be mindful of that to see, like, these people are beautiful. This community is beautiful. It can just be spending time out in the open with people. Those things for me are beautiful. Those little things like that.
Yeah.
To where you not only, sometimes you don't even have to do anything. You just need to just be there.
Yeah. The next part of the practice of seeing beauty is to write about 3 things each day that were beautiful in nature or the physical environment around you, you know, buildings and bridges and cars. And there's just this robust science, just kind of feeling nature, seeing its beauty is just good for your health and your concentration and your well-being. We get a lot of the same benefits from focusing on the beauty of the environment. One of my favorite studies is you can look at the beauty of different urban areas in England, and the more beautiful the area is, the better people are getting along, right? It's just like beauty helps us all get along. Tell us about one of your 3 sort of looking for beauty in nature experiences with this practice.
So I was taking pictures of San Francisco, and these little squirrel, like one squirrel came up on a rock. So I took a picture of him, and then the female squirrel came up as well. It's like, do they know the background that they have behind them of San Francisco, the Bay Bridge? And they looking into the camera like I'm taking these pictures like they know it's behind there.
Yeah.
And I'm just snapping these pictures, and it's like they're just smiling, and I'm looking like, this is something humans would do, but here it is, these animals are doing this.
Yeah.
And it just tickled me, like, can you really imagine that these squirrels know that this background is behind them, and they taking this picture sitting up like this and knowing this is like a portrait?
Yeah.
You know, just observing something like that,
Yeah.
to appreciate the time they took out to come take a picture for me. So that was, it was really amazing.
What else in nature struck you as beautiful that you wrote about?
I was driving home one day, it's a beautiful sunny day, and I'm coming across the Bay Bridge, and I look to the right and I see this beautiful sailboat and some ships out there. But I noticed this like big span of water. It was just smooth, like it's almost like a shirt, how you iron the wrinkles out. The water looked like that, and I was so amazed because I've never really noticed water to do that. And I was just like curious, I wonder what made that happen in the water. It was a beautiful sight because it was in a large space, but outside of that space, it was wavy. The water shows me that there is no limits. The ocean is just so free running, and there's no end to it.
Tell us about how doing this practice of looking for 3 moments of beauty in nature, what did it do, this practice, in terms of influencing your relationship to nature?
It makes me want to bring more children out of the city into nature.
Yeah.
Because I think from being in the city with all the hustle and bustle and all the drama, they can really find a safe space in nature. When I was walking up, there's a little stream down here in Berkeley.
Yeah.
And it's so peaceful. A lot of kids have never even seen a stream before. So just imagine them coming up here and seeing squirrels running around, a stream, or a deer. What could that do for them?
Yeah.
That could be that safe space that they can get away from the city and learn to go on their own.
Yeah.
You know, just seeing things like that. It was peaceful. I think it was really peaceful.
Yeah.
And they need to see that.
Yeah. You know, Darnell, your stories are so powerful and rich, and tell us, like, there's moral beauty all around us. There's natural beauty. There's beauty of the environment. And I'm curious, you know, as you did this practice and the final 3 things that you write about are just beauty in general, the beauty of ideas or the beauty of possibilities. And I'm curious what you became aware of in that last part of the practice, just what's beautiful for Darnell in general.
I seen a picture, and it's a pond, and it had lotus flowers in it. And what I like about that picture is the lotus flower is such a beautiful flower. And I look at how beautiful it is, but it grows in mud.
Yeah.
And when I look at that and equate those two things, how could something so beautiful come out of the mud? And I think, something like that drives me to say, like, no matter what people been through, they can come out of it beautiful. So when I look at that beautiful picture, it just resonates with me to where, like, what more can I see in this picture? Where's this picture at? Where is it going? And it's like I like to just sometimes just imagine about things, the not knowing of something, but just being able to look at something. And, that's what the lotus picture does for me.
Yeah.
Pictures that you can just run your mind wild and guessing and not knowing the answers.
Wonderful. How's this practice of looking for 3 moments made you think about beauty and what it means to you?
I think just in your life period, you have to be focused on beauty, and especially the beauty in people, because if not, you lose track of what your goals are in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your humanity.
Darnell Washington, I am so grateful to be your friend and that you came by and shared some wisdom on this show. Thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
We've been talking about the science of beauty and how to find more of it in our lives. Now, our podcast executive producer, Shuka Kalantari, is going to share what she learned from the scientist who created the 9 Beautiful Things practice that Darnell tried for our show. Here's Shuka.
When we naturally notice and appreciate the beauty around us, it could lead to all kinds of different benefits. Studies show it can make us feel more satisfied in life, have a stronger sense of meaning, and act with more kindness towards others and the environment. Knowing all this, one scientist decided to test out if training people to seek beauty would yield similar results.
So can we find an instruction that people can work self-administered and can use in their daily lives?
Renee Proyer is the psychologist who created the 9 Beautiful Things practice.
One of the main things I think we wanted to achieve was that we wanted to encourage people to find beauty in their everyday lives.
He and his team at Martin Luther University in Germany recruited 119 adults online via the university's website. They weren't told much about the purpose of the experiment, only that it might help strengthen their strengths.
Participants were instructed to set aside about 15 minutes for 7 consecutive days in the evening.
Some were instructed to write about childhood memories, and the others were told to do the 9 Beautiful Things practice, writing about 3 beautiful things in human behavior, in nature, and in general.
The basic idea was that we wanted to cover different areas of the human experience.
They avoided giving instructions to do things like go to a museum or watch the sunrise. They wanted to emphasize looking for beauty in the day-to-day.
So, for example, on the way to work, on public transport, look out of the window. Is there a tree that you haven't noticed before that blooms beautifully at this time? Or on your way to work, do you see a street artist, for example, that does something exceptional? We also asked them, and I think that's an important addition, why they have experienced this particular thing as beautiful, to help participants to relive this observation. And also, we wanted to elicit the emotions felt again.
Everyone completed questionnaires about their happiness and depression levels before the week began, then again directly afterwards, as well as 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months later.
And our expectations were that the number of depressive symptoms, so like problem sleeping, loss of appetite, general feelings of sadness or feeling down, and so on, they would be reduced after the program.
And that's exactly what Proyer and his team found.
Happiness increased and depressive symptoms were ameliorated. Same happened 1 week after the intervention. And 1 month after the intervention, we still found that people described themselves as more happy. The thing that was probably most striking for me was when talking to participants afterwards, that they really said this idea of finding beauty in my everyday life worked.
Proyer says he wants to do this beauty experiment again, except this time with couples or friends trying it out together.
I think this could also have some great potential, because if you share your beautiful experiences during the day with your partner, and then the partner tells you about their experience, that's a nice discussion to have over dinner, right? And a positive effect from my perspective would be that people start asking questions in the sense of, oh yeah, and what happened then? And what did you think when you saw this? And oh, have you ever seen something like this before? And I think this could have potential to have even stronger effects.
Thanks, Yuga.